Now there's a fifth level here. The fifth level is not a formal part of any conspiracy, but it is a very necessary appendage. These are the majority of unthinking people that compose the general public, the Joe Sixpacks, the average and above average public educated person who thinks he has a good handle on life, but really has no idea at all about who is really running government. Having a group of people capable of being fooled and manipulated is essential in this power struggle. If we had a larger percentage of enlightened people who could feel the warning signals of conscience, the conspiracy would not get away with putting immoral and mendacious politicians in the White House. Common people of this type tend to believe all the popular excuses and explanations offered up by the media, the spin doctors, to explain away suspicious government events and behaviors. These people get all of their news from establishment media sources and are easily swayed by fads and the herd instinct. Most people have poor sensitivity to conscience, which explains why they don't have any feelings of suspicion and are somewhat trapped by their dumbed-down public education. And since the majority of people can be successfully manipulated by the media, which is heavily composed of predictably liberal types of groups, 1, 2, and 3, the conspiracy can almost always control the outcome of democratic elections. And any outcome that they can't control, they will simply recount because they control the computers. Now, one of the dumbest things that we do here in America is to go in and vote on a computer. Voting on a computer is like playing a slot machine. It's already pre-programmed with an outcome. Now, how many of you believe, honest to God, believe that you can walk into a casino, put a quarter into a slot machine, and win? Do you believe that? How many of you people, honest to God, now believe you can buy a lottery ticket and win $1 million? Huh? Do you believe that? Well, people that play slot machines and people that buy lottery tickets also are registered to vote. Now, you've probably heard, if you haven't, then you're totally out of touch with reality, about how these voting machines are rigged. Well, and that means the outcome of the election has already been pre-programmed. So when you people in Ohio go into your voting booth and you push the buttons and pull the levers on these voting machines, the outcome, when it comes out, then you know how the outcome was pre-programmed before you went in to vote. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you about voting machines. You know, hell, that's neither here nor there. But these elections are pre-programmed. Now, when you take a 3x5 card, it used to be when I was a kid, when you went in to vote, you pulled out a form, and you marked on this form. You put your X here at this square and so on. And then somebody physically had to count that. And the reason that those elections were fair to middle and accurate, not totally, but fair to middle, is because there was as many Republicans counting the votes as there was Democrats counting the votes. Today, there aren't any Republicans or Democrats counting the votes. It's the computer company that's counting the votes. That's why Joe Stalin always shined when he said, it isn't who votes that counts. It's who's counting the votes that counts. And that's the computer company, which is hired by the Republican or the Democrats, or in this case by the Trilateral Commission or the Bilderbergers or whoever. So if you're voting and you're wasting your time, effort, and energy pushing buttons on a computer over here, well, don't let me get in the way of your happiness and success. But you should understand that you're being manipulated, pure and simple. The outcome of the election is already pre-programmed, and it's going to be a close election. You just saw it happen in Iran. Now, the people over in Iran didn't like Ahmadinejad, and they wanted to vote for the other guy, and they did. And when it was all said and done, they got through counting the votes, Joe Stalin was right again. It's not who votes that counts. It's who's counting the votes that counts, and Ahmadinejad was counting the votes. It was a close election, but Ahmadinejad just squeaked through. All right? Now, that's the way that game is played. So pay attention. Let me give you a name and number here again for this book. It's Joel Skousen, Skousen, Strategic Relocation, North American Guide to Safe Places. Telephone number is 801-224-4746. Again, that's 801-224-4746, or you can email him at Joels, Joels, at joelskousen.com. That's Joels at joelskousen, all one word, .com. Or you can write to 290 West, 580 South, Orem, Utah. Zip code 84058. Once more, that's 290 West, 580 South, Orem, O-R-E-M, Utah, 84058. Now we're talking about government intrusion upon your liberty and individual rights. We'll take it up right there next time on the threat analysis here on the Law Hour and Editorial Review. One-way system of corruption guaranteed. All right, let me remind you that you've been listening to the Law Hour and Editorial Review, sponsored by the Gordon Law School of Isabella, Missouri. The Law Hour is heard 7 days a week here in the United States, and we're heard around the world in more than 120 countries daily over the Internet and radio. If you'd like more information about the Law School and the Law Hour, please go to our website. That's georgegordon.org, georgegordon.org. The Law School is a private, non-commercial, non-profit, non-sectarian law school. It is open to individuals, but by prearrangement. The Law School conducts a homeschooling program for adults on compact disc, and the Law Hour website is updated weekly and has a radio log schedule and archives. All of these Law Hour programs are archived on the Internet by title and date for your listening convenience, and the Law Hour is an educational service brought to you in the public interest. Hey, our time's up. We got to leave it right there, so we'll see you back here tomorrow night. Same time, same station, God willing, of course. So until then, thanks for listening, everybody, and good night, friends.